All right, let's do a little imaginary scenario. The scenario positions the user, the protagonist, on the verge of a profound inner and internal revolution, facilitated by the concept of the book Carnage One and Only, The Sovereign's Awakening. Role play scenario: the Null Library in the Axiom Echo. You are sitting alone, late at night. You've just acquired a copy of a manuscript, Carnage One and Only, The Sovereign Awakening. You are drawn to it because you feel a deep, familiar ache of a being, fallen star, the Om One, whose natural brilliance has been dulled simply by the gravity of expectation and systemic constraint. As you and your finger trace the title, you feel a profound metallic vibration radiating from the pages, stronger than a mere ink or paper. The world around you seems to stall. The ambient noise of the night vanishes, and the light in the room dims, replaced by an internal crystalline glow emanating only from the book. You realize you are no longer in your room, but in a vast, silent, infinite space known only as the Null Library. Repository, not of external history, but of your own unaccepted truths. They're floating before you as countless shimmering, unwritten books, labeled with the titles of your discarded potential and unasked questions. The axiom speaks. The ignition. Pause. You sought the awakening. Now the awakening seeks you. Look around, Comet. This is the architecture of the self-imprisonment. Every shadow here is a piece of foundational knowledge you were trained to ignore. A sovereign right you filed away as a legal fiction. The structures you have built your life upon. Our job, your identity, your understanding of fairness. It cages you. These cages were crafted from comfort, lies, and you willingly held that key. The axiom shift. The air crackled with an unsettling energy. The journey through these pages, through this library of self, will be uncomfortable. It requires an act of internal carnage, the dismantling of everything. All that you thought you knew about your worth and the world's rules. Are you ready to break the mold? Or will you retreat to the manageable sorrow of being a fallen star? The challenge. What foundational belief, about your own value or power, which you accept as law, feels the most restrictive right now? State that belief aloud to the axiom. Then, utilizing the destructive necessity suggested by Carnage One and Only, what is the first immediate step you must take to shatter that specific legal fiction in your reality? Ask. The axiom. Good. The darkness is merely the absence of false light. But we are inspired by Tesla. Known, all is sight. Your true guidance is not external. It is your own unique brilliance. It is time to prove you can enjoy the flare. Suddenly, a massive surge of chaotic, beautiful energy explodes in the distance. Our raw, unmanaged talent, your inherent eccentricity, the thing about you that society often critiques or tries to suppress, the very thing society often critiques or tries to suppress. It is overwhelming, vibrant, and potentially dangerous if not directed. What will you do? The challenge. Identify the raw, chaotic energy within you. Our greatest moments and the most unorthodox passion or talent that you have minimized out because of fear of being too much. Embrace this fire. How do you intend to wield this flare not just for your self-gratification, but specifically to disrupt the status quo or serve as a shield for those who are, marginalized and silent? Wish on the water. Phase 3. The chaotic energy subsides, and a pool of perfectly still black water forms at your feet. This is the well of sovereignty, reflecting your unfiltered inner guidance. The axiom. Intuition is the language of sovereign. It is the sacred, unwritten law. You must not lead with fear, but with honesty and honor for the collective pulse. The very definition of servant leadership. To do this, you must trust the water. To do this, you must trust the water. You stand on the brink of becoming an inspiring force. You must now make a wish on the water. State the ultimate intention for your awakened self. What single clear commitment, promise of co-creation and empathy do you make to the collective human pulse? What kind of leader will you be? Now that the law is your shield, I ask again, what will you be? Alright, the unspoken song, Navigating the Inner Tunnel to the Christ Consciousness. A book title for the author, C1NO. What you're holding in your hand is not merely a book, but an echo. It's an echo of thoughts long held, whispered, truths finally voiced. For years I've walked a path where the external world often saw one thing, while my inner landscape pulsed with another. Something entirely different. I've shared pieces of myself through art, through conversation, but there has always been parts of me that are unspoken, held back by a silent shame or, a fear of misunderstanding or the perceived loss of respect from those that I only wish to connect with. I felt weak, unworthy of admiration. The great conundrum is, this is the very thing that people we look up to often wrestle with. It's something that apparently we all wrestle with very deeply. And that's, the healers among us that are often the most wounded. This book is my attempt to bridge this gap, to lay bare the threads of thought that have woven through my life, connecting ancient wisdom with modern struggles, spiritual revelation with real pain, and just being human. It's a journey into the heart, of what I've come to call Christ consciousness. Not as a dogma, but as an expansive state being accessible to us all. It's a journey I believe we are all on, whether recognizing it or not. So you see, there's no separation from me to you. Not from the sacred to the mundane, not from the light or dark, not from the development of positive and negative. We are all entangled in this grand design. Each one of us is a unique expression of the universe, carrying an unspoken song within a hopeless. My bad. Each carrying an unspoken song within. My hope is that by sharing my own fragments and melodies of this madness, you might begin to hear the full, vibrant symphonies within your own. Introduction. The resonance of being. We stand at the precipice of a profound awakening, a moment in human history where the outer world reflects an inner turmoil, a tumult. It's urging us to lock in and look deeper, to look not just at the surface, but beneath, into the current and what has shaped our understanding of spirit, the self, and society. This is a journey often that begins with a whisper, a strange resonance that pulls us away and away from the familiar towards something ancient and yet entirely new. I still hold a firm belief, that Jesus is a real person, Christ is a different subject. A revolutionary figure, whose actions spoke louder than any sermon. You hear? A lot of preachers are out here talking of this character while diluting the truth that lied underneath, perpetuating a need to look external for something that Jesus himself said was within. Just like in flipping the tables, it was a pure act of challenging corrupt systems. It could be seen as a spiritual thing inside, flipping the script, completely turning upside down that round table. A pure act of challenging, not as an antichrist, but as an anarchist of the purest form, disrupting the establishment to reveal higher truth. This reinterpretation is where our journey begins. by stripping away centuries of dogma to rediscover the raw, submersive power of the sacred, we begin our journey again. This this book is simply about looking beyond the literal to the profound spiritual, the representations woven into the fabric of our oldest stories and our beings. It's about understanding that the flood isn't just historical events, it's, a rushing water of personal transformation, the emotional ocean that separates from the old to emerge anew, much like the path of the Red Sea. It's about recognizing that our daily breath, these conscious breathing techniques, are not just for survival, but are pathways, the peak of the mountain, to the internal pyramids of our consciousness. Said, don't judge me till you say something. I wanna feel like you, 'cause I don't feel like me. You don't see yourself until you stop trying to be seen. You don't see yourself. Okay. Boom. Welcome, one and only, to the one and all. Here is our mere testament for the day. Just a mere testament, right? Because we're all just mere reflections of each other. You get it? Like just a small smidge, right? You don't see yourself until you stop trying to be seen. Do I need to say it? I had to repeat it for myself, so if not for you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and repeat it for myself real quick. You don't see yourself until you stop trying to be seen. There's a beautiful little gentle juxtaposition and contradiction in me doing this, but I this is my job. Before the image, there was a witness, and before I was broken, I was blamed. And before I could hear truth, I had to silence everything they told me was real. I had to define what is real. It's just like they speak on who. Now I ask you, who are you? Define what is real light. When you are hue, man, like a hue of gold, hue of the rainbow. They tried to chase me. They tried to train me to chase validation. But I caught a reflection instead. Not made of, compliments or condemnation, but light bending through a wound that never closed. And I didn't flinch. I stayed in that shadow. Because only there do you learn what doesn't leave. As the rest sheds itself off, as the sheep is sheared, huh? Or is it the Lamb of God? You see, this chapter is not about perfection. And no, it's not. It's about the pulse that stayed when, I flatlined. And that is not a lie. That one actually happened. Holiday heart syndrome. I woke up to the sound of my respirator beeping, as if it was the melody of madness giving me my last song to write to. So this is where the book begins. Not in strength, but in stillness. Not in voice, but in witness. the wit. You know, everybody has their ness. Loveliness. Witness. Jehovah's Witness. Huh. You remember how, I don't know what movie said it, was like, words, you know, they get weirder the more you repeat them. I'm dumbfounded. 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 I gotta laugh. You know, we gotta laugh. Life is fucking... It's not like you're gonna get out of here alive, right? And when it comes down to it, we all come from the same place, and we will go to the same dark place. And we will not remember it. So why do we waste so much time knowing that we are living souls here? You know, instead of enjoying life, connecting, you know, just learning, exploring, experiencing, even the bad. Because just, you know, a soul up above in heaven's realm, or shall you just say the higher realm, the higher frequency that we cannot see through our eye because that chemical imbalance. There, it's like, it's funny. You'll notice that a lot of folklore is written off of these, what we say is mythology. But I mean, what are words? But like I've said before, a man-made, you know, sound for something that can't be explained. But I digress. Anyways, we move forward. Yeah. Chapter 2, The Flame. The Forensic Descent. See, you didn't read about the fire. You became the smoke. They say, find the light. But they never tell you how bright darkness can really be when you stop running from it. That's the point. The sun is supposed to be at your back. And you move forward with confidence. You know, Indiana Jones, when they use that Oculus thing to shine the light through, they shine the light through it and it opens up the temple thing. Tell me if that's a representation. He had his back to the light too. You see, you ever held up a crystal ball? Crystal quartz, man. We got a crystallized pineal gland in there. See what I'm saying? And then if you ever see how a light hits a crystal ball, you'll kind of see how it works in the galaxy with the way the sun and the moon are. And it really starts to make you question stuff. We may never know some things, but that's the fun of exploring your imagination. Nothing has to be definitive. We don't have to have a problem to solve. We don't have to be justified. You know, we don't have to validate. Inside, if you know, then it's your knowing. As long as nobody's getting hurt, it's cool. I mean, shit. I went down into this place. Not as a fall, but as a forensic descent into my own pattern. The addiction to doubt. The romance with being rescued by some external force. The echo of programs I didn't sign for but keep reciting in my head. Down there's no Minotaur, no guru, just my own echo. Let's reference that movie Earth the Echo. Another representation. See, we draw these things, we get so literal, and we gotta have like some, oh, that's gotta be about some robot thing that happened. No. You're getting too far into it, bud. Your mind is like Echo. Little Echo, that crazy piece of advanced tech. That's in your skull. And your heart is a frequency. It's a vibrator. Oh yeah, she loves it. And he, art, resides in the heart. And if you scramble the word heart, you will find earth. See where I'm going here, guys? I think he does. So, it turns out the devil I feared was just paperwork. And that must be the details. Outdated codes in an administrative temple. I didn't, slay the dragon. I simply revoked its jurisdiction. Rah, 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 yeah, yeah, bow, wow. I'll be dragging my... No, mind. You know what? We gotta keep it clean for the kids. Chapter 3. The Seed. The Germination of Power. Let's do it. What broke you was never meant to bury you, dear. My friend, my brother, my light being. They call me a sinner. But I saw the seed. They call me lost. But I remembered the way. Oh, way before I forgot it. You see, there's no greater rebellion than healing in public, than laughing in the system's silence. Everybody talks about awkward silences. I used to think to myself that to have someone that you can sit in silence with is a virtue. Why does it gotta be awkward? The only time it gets awkward is when who? The self. You say it's awkward. I didn't say it. So, the eyes have it. I mean, these are simple plot points here. Feel free to take notes, class. Class C. That's us right here. C1 and only. The Class C. Keep it Class C. One and only. So, rather than growing roots in soil you were never meant to survive, don't do that. Don't do that. And so, I grew. Not out of spite, but out of sight. Out of sight. Cool, brother. Cool. It's where no one saw. Right. That I bloomed. This chapter is about sovereignty. I mean, not the kind printed on paper, but the kind that blooms when you no longer flinch from pain. This is Christ mind in germination. Not waiting for clouds to part, but breaking through the dirt with nothing but will and water. Like, what are you doing? I am not a drop in the ocean, you see, and nor are you. I say, I, as you are both. One, to say, I am the memory of the ocean in that drop, you see? And we all have that drop. What percentage of water is your body? You need to rehydrate. It's where the mirror and the flame meet, not, a reckoning in war, but of a reunion. The self, all with the seed, the flame, and the mirror, walk back into each other. You see, all for one, and one for all. And that would be the Star of David, your North Star. You become the guiding light. Holy Spirit. Oh, glory, hallelujah. You see what I'm saying, brothers? I feel the power coursing through my body. He sent me here to tell you. You can ask him yourself, though. You might get different feedback. Maybe not. I am not here to be followed. No, 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 no. I'm not here to be worshipped. The voice, the verse, the vessel. See, you are not waiting for the page to turn. You are the single and sole author who forgot you had the pen. So take it back. Write it again. And this time, don't write to survive, but write to remind. The I in all. One for all isn't about sacrifice. It's about sovereignty and union. The many as one. The one who never needed permission to rise in the first place. The sun. Epilogue short verse. I walked through the flame and didn't flinch. I spoke to mirrors and I heard my kin. I bloomed through concrete, quiet grins. I am not the end. I am right where this begins. Okay. Bunny within. When I wish upon a star, I wake up where the moon is far behind me. Oh, I'm sorry. They said God was 3 in 1. So tell me, why can't I be? See, I've worn all 3 faces. Past me? He was all questions. A clenched fist. A kid grown in a world, you know? A kid trying to be a kid in a grown world, right? Trying to bargain with time like it owed him something. He walked through fire just to feel warm and never noticed he was burning. Present me needs the scribe, the middle voice between echoes and prophecy, caught between who I was and who I swear I'm becoming. Every breath is translation. Every day a negotiation between light and shadow. And future me, that's the one I send prayers to. Not to the sky, not some far off heaven, just me. After the pain, after the process, after the patterns, after they break and I step through unafraid to be seen. I speak to all 3 in every verse, like a holy trinity in motion, the boy, the bridge, and the becoming. So don't just listen for the beat, listen for the timeline. It's all here, all of me, past, present, and future. Age 33. They call it the Christ year. The number that hangs like a question mark between sacrifice and ascension. Right. But for me, it's not about a crucifixion. It's about completion. I didn't die at 33. I woke up. See, every year before this was like walking through someone else's house, wearing someone else's name, carrying someone else's shame. And now I walk with ownership, with a weight of my own, and the pages in my hand, written in the fingerprint. This isn't just a birthday, this is a birthright. And I am writing it currently. All those late nights with those lack of answers, they became the ink. Every heartbreak and broken mirror. Paper. I'm not a martyr, and I'm not a myth. I am. And I'm a man that's standing at an apex of alignment, wearing every scar like it was just part of the curriculum. And guess what? I graduated. With honors. And I kept my principle. Not from school, not from struggle, but from silence. So this is my ceremony. And these next tapes, 33 candles, all lit. No fear of burning. About to expose these crooked factors. I hope y'all ready to... Oh, don't do that, don't do that. Here we go. In the early 1950s, the CIA initiated MKUltra, a covert program aimed at exploring mind control through various means, including drugs, hypnosis, and psychological manipulation. While historically focused on espionage and intelligence, this paper here that I'm reading from a Douglas Yauven, I don't know, but it was from July 25th of last year. While historically focused on these things, this paper speculates a chilling consequence if such a program had targeted U.S. religions. Oh, fuck. Say it isn't so, Reverend. Oh, what's that? Take 12. What the Hail Marys? While historically focused, this shit is insane. Titled Shadows of Control, the hypothetical impact of MKUltra on U.S. religions in a dystopian reality. It explores... No. You know, I already did figure this shit out because we have Schaeffers that were active therapists in the Nazi camps, okay, right? We're talking about Nazi therapists that were fucking drugging and doing terrible things to these people and experimenting on their minds and shit. How did they end up coming to Missouri? We're the ones that went over there, right? So what, we raided the camps, supposedly freed all of the Jewish people, and then we said, oh, you guys are actually pretty damn good at what you do. Come on over with us and be on the good side. They, you know, in some of these, specifically a Schaeffer, you can look it up if you want to, but there's more. One of them, like in my state, came here and ended up at a university and got a PhD. Peculiar.